Hi everyone, Miss Branch here. Welcome to Primary Language Video 1. This is our first language video where we get into our materials and start to learn. So I'm going to come sit down, and if you remember from the first video, we go through a couple steps, and the first one we're going to do is look at our materials. So what do we need for today? Today we're going to be making sandpaper letters, and I'm using quotes because that means they're like sandpaper letters, but we don't have sandpaper, so we have to be creative, and the way that we're going to make our sandpaper letters is with glue. So the materials you're going to need is a glue bottle from your supply pack, some scissors from your supply pack, and you will also need in your language packet, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages with some really big cursive lowercase letters, and you'll need all 5 of those pages. So if you could go ahead and put me on pause and go get those materials, then I'll meet you right back here. When you're ready, then you can press play. All right, welcome back. Now we're on play, so thank you for coming back and getting all of your materials. We're going to move from getting our materials, and now we're going to do our lesson. So I'm just going to put this over here so we all know what part we're on right now. So let's start with our first page that has A, B, C, D, E, F on it. Now in our classroom, our sandpaper letters are very square, but as you can see here, it's going to be a little difficult to cut them out square. So the way we want to cut them out is to leave as much space around them without cutting into the next one as possible. So I'm going to start with cutting A, and remember in the lesson you're just going to watch how I do it, and then when I change it from the lesson to you do is when you'll do it. So if you'll just watch and stay with me, then you'll have your turn pretty soon. So I'm just going to cut under this A and try to make it, it's not really square because the sides are not the same, but there's my A. So I have my A out. I'm going to get my glue. I'm going to come right up close to the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So with my A, I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to trace along the A just like I would in class. But I'm going to let my glue come out. I just want a little bit of glue. Sometimes when you glue, it comes out pretty fast, or we think we need a lot. But for this, we don't need a lot. We just need a little line that follows the shape of our letter. We need just enough. So I'm going to shake my glue down and get it ready. I'm going to go, whoop. Sometimes glue does that too. My glue got a little stuck. If your glue gets stuck, you can always ask your parents to help. And sometimes there's a little nub you can get off at the top. So I'm starting at the front, and I go up with my glue and stop, down, around, and out. Can you see my glue on my A? It's not perfect, but it's going to work, and yours is going to be just fine too. So now my A is done. I'm going to set it right over here so it can dry. Then I'm going to come back and do my B. You might be thinking, what are we going to glue onto these letters? Well, we're not going to glue anything on. We're just going to let the glue dry, because once it's dry, we'll be able to trace over our letters with our fingers. And we'll be able to feel them just like we would our sandpaper letters. So here's my B. I definitely don't want to trace these until they're all dry. I'm going to cut out my C next. Come right up here. And again, the shape doesn't really matter. See, my C has a very strange shape. Just as long as I get it cut out to where I can see the letter. Up and around. Okay. So now I'm bringing my C so you can see my C. You're probably going to need a pretty big space so that you have enough area to let these sit out and dry. And it's important not to stack them either, because we want them all laid out, all by themselves, so that they have lots of time and space to dry. I got my D. So my D, I love D's because they have a little A in it. Up and stop, down, around, all the way up, down and out. So that's what I'm going to do with my glue. Up and stop, down, around, and out. And you can have your mom or dad or anyone in your house help you with this too. The most important part is getting glue wherever there is some black on our letter. I can get my E. These are going to be so much fun to use. And E is pretty easy. Just goes in a swirl. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as we have some glue that can dry on our letters. Here's my E. And my F is a very irregular shape, so I'm going to trim it up just a little bit. F is a fun letter to do too. I wonder if you have a fun letter, a favorite letter, I mean. My favorite letter is X. I love the sound that X makes. X, X, X. Okay, here's my F. And then what I would do, I have my first page done. I have 5 letters done. So the next thing I would do is go back and cut out each of these letters, and I would trace them with glue and let them dry. I wanted to show you what one of our letters with a dot looks like. Luckily, I and J are close to each other. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out I so I can show you how to cut it. I'm going to cut it holding up. Any letter that has an I, we really got to make sure that we save that I. So I'm going to make sure that I'm cutting in a shape that's going to let me save it. So see how the I is included in my shape? It's not cut off. So then I can go back in with my glue. Up and down. And then I can go to my dot. My dot needs some glue too, because I need to feel the dot. There's my I. So now I'm going to change this. I haven't done all the letters, but that might take a really long time for me to do all the letters so that you can see. So now what I'm going to do, uh-oh, here comes a kitty. Ooh, kitty. Let's move the kitty so that we don't. Excuse us, Lucy. She loves language too. She wanted to come see what we were doing. Okay, so now I'm going to switch from lesson to you do. Because if I sat here and did all these, this would be a very long video. And I bet you are so ready to do yours. So your job for this lesson, for your you do, is to cut out all of your big letters, just these big ones, the 5 pages, and to put glue on them and to put them somewhere safe so that they can dry. And tomorrow when we do our next video, lesson 2, we will be using these and it's going to be so much fun. So have fun with it. Keep your glue on the black line. Ask an adult for help if you need help. And I'll see you on the next video.